Recall in 2005, New Orleans was struck by a Category 5 hurricane known as Hurricane Katrina. The aftermath resulted in close to 2,000 deaths and the displacement of hundreds of thousands across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Global Response provided more than $2.2 billion worth of aid, and the American Red Cross praised it as the largest ever relief response. There were more than 3.8 million people in overnight stay shelters across 31 states, and the Red Cross reported serving more than 68 million meals and snacks. Later, in 2010, Haiti was struck by a 7.0 magnitude earthquake. This natural disaster caused over 200,000 deaths and left 2 million people homeless and 3 million people in need of emergency aid. Haiti received the equivalent of $13.5 billion in aid that's set to be dispersed throughout 2020, and hundreds of volunteers have gone to help recover their health and homes. When these disasters are broadcast across the media and we can really see the destruction of someone's home and the emotions on the face of someone who lost a loved one, many people come together to help. Right now, we are on the verge of one more devastating natural disaster. Only this time, we have a chance to prevent and repair before the worst of the destruction. 20% of the world's atmospheric oxygen comes from the Amazon rainforest, yet Amazon deforestation is occurring at an alarming rate. Data from the World Wildlife Fund states that between 46 to 58,000 square miles of Amazon rainforest is lost every year. Picture that as 48 football fields per minute per year. This dramatic loss of the rainforest will not only impact the local areas surrounding the Amazon, but will cause dramatic global effects as well. The Amazon rainforest houses the most diverse group of organisms on Earth. It contains 10% of all known species in the world, including some of the most threatened and endangered animals and plants. Outside of the rainforest, there are 1.6 billion people throughout various towns of Peru and Brazil who rely on the rainforest for food, fresh water, medicine, and clothing. 50 to 80% of the humidity in the local climate is a result of the water cycle based around the ecosystem of the rainforest. The forest flora acts as a sponge that soaks up and retains rainfall. This stored water is transpired and evaporated into the atmosphere, where it again forms clouds before being precipitated as rain back onto the rainforest floor and the surrounding areas. When large areas of the forest are removed, there's less left to anchor the soil and soak up water. So, during the rainy season, water and moisture seep away, causing runoff into streams, which elevates river levels and exposes the downstream towns and fields to flooding. Then, during the dry season, these low levels of moisture hinder water evaporation, and the towns risk month-long droughts, which take away supply of fresh water, interrupt river navigation, and crop yields. Evidence of this has already been witnessed in civilized regions today. Colombia, for example, once second in the world with freshwater reserves, is now 24th due to increase in droughts over the last 30 years. Currently, the Amazon mitigates worldwide climate change by acting as a carbon sink and preventing carbon dioxide from free-floating in the atmosphere. Unfortunately, as trees are removed and the size of the forest decreases, it has begun to release more carbon dioxide than it takes in. Roughly 15% of greenhouse gas emissions today are the result of deforestation. This has brought an increase in global temperatures, changing weather patterns, and increased the frequency of weather-related disasters. Continued and widespread deforestation of the Amazon that has already begun affecting the local areas will eventually trigger a positive feedback process that will increase desiccation for neighboring forests and then extend beyond South America. The increasingly dry air produced over the Amazon will follow its normal easterly trade winds, where typically moist air would be carried east across the Pacific, providing moisture to rainforests in Southeast Asia, which then provide moist air for the Congo rainforest. A decrease in moisture in the Amazon will cause a decrease of moisture that could be carried throughout the world and have devastating effects. A 2013 Princeton study led by David Medcavie concluded that this air system could mean up to 20% less rain for the coastal Northwest and a 50% reduction in Sierra Nevada snowpack, which are major sources of fresh water for cities and farms in California. In fact, Medcavie went on record saying, and I quote, "If you change the snowpack in the Sierra Nevada, where most of the irrigation for California's Central Valley come from, then, by this study, deforestation of the Amazon could have serious consequences for the food supply of the United States. To reassess, what seems like a small, local issue right now will eventually lead to a chain reaction of drastic measures. If we keep waiting for these changes to impact us here in our homes, it will be too late. Many animals will have already become extinct, hundreds of thousands will have already been forced to migrate, and our only Earth will be in the grip of full-blown climate change. Only this time, there might be no emergency response, no backup plan, and no more time to prepare for this natural disaster. To see what's being done currently and how to help the cause in preventing Amazon deforestation, head to Greenpeace USA.